Almighty and everlasting God, who presides over all things in heaven and earth, come and preside over these deliberations, so that those that make the decisions may be guided by your wisdom.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to the February 25th work session of City Council. A work session is where council members discuss what's on the agenda for Thursday's meeting. Thank you.
Okay, first on council's agenda is an ordinance adding Article 5 to Chapter 11 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Wilkes-Barre entitled Food Carts and Food Trucks. This is for first reading.
Any questions from council? I've just one suggestion, Councilman McClay. Hours of operation, you think it would be better to move the morning hours in case anyone wants to serve breakfast?
Yep.
I think, thank you.
Yeah, that's been done, Tony.
Yeah.
It just wasn't that this version was a prior version.
Good. So
We
are
actually
doing-
are going to move the hours of closing as well to 2 a.m.
So it would be 7
2
a.m.
a.m.
7 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Is anybody opposed? Or
Yeah.
anybody you do not want?
That's ridiculous. No.
Well, the thought was because a lot of the bars let out at 2 a.m. And we do have in here about the music and the lights, so I think that would eliminate any noise concerns. Anybody else have any thoughts on the time?
Anyone else? Any other comments? Okay, good. All right, thank you. Next.
We also are going to change, it currently says in there, 100 feet of a restaurant. We're going to change that down to 50.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Jess, where was that at?
That is second page, number B.
Yeah, letters.
Okay.
Letter B.
Yeah,
Okay.
Same thing.
So it'll be changed in B, D,
and E.
and E.
Yes.
And that's to 50. Got it. Okay. Any other suggestions?
I have no others.
Stan?
No.
Anything, Stan? Like anything else?
Ordinances are fine and dandy, but it's all about enforcement. And
Right.
after, but when City Hall closes, there goes your enforcement. So we could do 11 o'clock, we could do 3 o'clock in the morning, but if it's not enforced, what good is it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's all of our ordinances, though. We just need to reinforce them, and the only ones out there to enforce at the time would be the police department. I don't want them dealing with this bull if there's important police, dealings to deal with. But there's nothing more we can do about it except hope for enforcement.
I agree.
I think at least this gives us some recourse, because right now we have nothing in place.
Kind of, yeah.
So at least if we know that there's an issue, we have something to fall back on. It could obviously be tweaked
Could
and
be
changed
directed,
a little
it could be
bit.
dealt with the next day
Right.
as well, I guess, through the administration.
Right.
To start, at least. It's great.
Okay. All right, we'll move on. Thank you.
You're up.
Hi, good evening. A few things I'd like to put out at resolutions. First of all is reappointing Bill Murtha to the Fire Civil Service Commission. You folks all know Bill. He's a retired fire captain and assistant chief, and he's served on the commission already. He's dedicated, he's a good guy, so I think that that's really, in my opinion, a no-brainer, but you'll decide on that on Thursday, but I'd ask for your cooperation on reappointing Bill Murtha.
I'd like the council to know that Mr. Murphy did call me. I don't know if he called anyone else. He called me from a great location, Bourbon Street in New Orleans, to say that he couldn't be here. So I want you guys to know that. And of course, we do know who.
Yeah, Bill's a great guy.
And I'm glad he is willing to continue to serve the city.
Bill does his job.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a great asset.
And he's really updated the process of hiring, firefighters. So it's automated. He's done a great job.
That's good.
Okay. Secondly is two other appointments. One appointing Delphine Torbic and Michael Demira to the Board of Health. We've had some people that had to move on in those positions. You definitely know Delphine Torbic. She was worked for the City Health Department for, I think, around 20 years. And she was a nurse, excellent, dedicated employee before she left. And then also Michael Demira. He actually is the gentleman that's in charge of the Geisinger hospitals in the area, okay? He worked his way up from a physical therapist up to this senior management position, and he's volunteered to serve on the board. So someone of that person's caliber will be a definite benefit and an asset to the Board of Health.
Mayor, do you know if he works out of South Wilkes-Barre?
Yeah, Mike, he works out of South Wilkes-Barre, but he has responsibility for both.
Okay.
So you could find him either place, but most of the time I believe he works, you're right, out of South Wilkes-Barre, Mike.
I think I dealt with him before.
You have.
With the resident issue.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments? I understood both of them couldn't be here. I thank you for their CVs. I happen to personally know both of them, too, and think they're both
Yeah.
eminently qualified for this board. And I'm definitely glad that Delphine wants to serve the city as well.
And counsel, these positions are hard to fill. They really are. They're very specialized positions, and both these people are very experienced in the healthcare field. Okay, so I don't think there'll be any issue there, but I hope not on Thursday. We'll find out when you decide to vote. All right, you never know. But no, seriously, they're wonderful people. Okay, to move on?
Yes.
All right. Authorizing the proper city officials to execute a $1 million RCAP, Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program. We call it an RCAP grant for the purpose of supporting the Greater Wilkes-Barre Industrial Funding, Just Always Believe LLC, and Resurrection of NEPA LLC, outlining the responsibilities of each organization. Now, these folks are located at 300 Courtright Avenue, and this is money that was actually allocated to the city of Pittston, okay, but it was redirected to the city of Wilkes-Barre from the city of Pittston. I don't know if there's anyone here. Oh, okay, please. Join me. If you have any questions.
My name is Chris Cawley, and I'm working on the management of the project along with the grant and financing side. So if anybody has any questions, I welcome the opportunity.
You want to just explain about the project, what you do,
Sure.
what it is?
It was a former assisted living facility, which I believe there was a sprinkler leak with the facility, and that the former owners decided to shut it down. We came in, purchased the facility, and proposed to put it's about a 99-bed detox / what we call the residential, so detox and then to the residential side of that. We got the approvals on that side. We worked for a good 5 to 6 months on transferring the money from Pittston, was already awarded to this project as well. We're expecting to have construction completed hopefully by May 1st, and then once we go through our DDAP approvals, licensing, and insurance approvals, hopefully be in business August toward the end of the year from that perspective.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Any questions from council?
Is this the property that River Street Manor, or whatever that's called, right?
Yes, right,
Back building, like?
the back building, correct.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah.
Been empty for a while, yeah.
Is this a
Yeah.
nonprofit?
No, this is
For-profit.
for-profit. So they're putting in about, I would say about $1 million, 1.7.
Okay. Good, thank you very much.
All right? Thanks, guys.
Now, if you come back on Thursday, that's when they vote.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, man.
Sorry, I just explained to the gentleman, come back Thursday when you actually are voting. You're not voting on it tonight, so if you come back Thursday, you'll know. Okay. Also authorizing the proper city official to execute a $750,000, once again, RCAP grant for the purpose of completing the Wilkes University Nursing Simulation Project. I see Mike Wood is here from Wilkes. Mike, if you want to come up.
How are you? Council, this RCAP is for phase 1 of an expansion of our nursing simulation lab. About 2 years ago, we started an accelerated nursing program. which allows anyone with an undergraduate degree to come into our nursing program and graduate with a BSN in 14 months. What it has done to our traditional nursing program is created a pinch point with our simulation center. So we have our traditional undergraduate nursing students that have to be tested on what's called a SAMI. It's a simulated patient. And so there's dedicated specialized space for the instructor to test a student. It takes about 90 minutes. So we have added 2 additional cohorts in the accelerated program of about 40 students in each cohort. And so the influx of these students has put a lot of stress on a relatively small simulation center. So the RCAP is going to address the first phase that allow us to expand a testing center with the addition of 4 of these SAMIs. And then we'll work on additional phases with future funding and also university resources as well.
How many undergraduate nursing students do you have?
About 80, I believe, but don't quote me on it. I don't exactly know, but I think that's about the number for traditional undergrad.
Right.
And we have, as you know, quite an expansive graduate nursing program.
Right. Any other questions from council?
How many phases will there be?
I'm sorry?
How many phases are you gonna have?
Probably 3, at least 3. The second phase will likely be a teaching and practicing space where we have several of the SAMIs that won't be the testing area, but it'll be space that students can go in to practice. We also want to create a home health space. So probably 3 phases. Total, it's going to take about $3 million for us to get the whole thing done. So we're not able to tackle that all at once.
All right.
Good. We're all good? Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Thank you. I just want to make a comment to make sure everyone is clear that these are grant applications that go to Harrisburg. They have nothing to do with our general fund. We are just letting them apply to Harrisburg for the money.
And also, Councilman, there's a dollar-for-dollar match.
Right, from the
$1, that was gonna be a
They receive a $1,000 RCAP, there has to be $1 million RCAP, they have to match $1 million in the project, okay? So that's something important too. It's not just giving that money away.
Right.
It has to be matched dollar for dollar. Okay.
Very good.
LSA is different. There's no match on an LSA.
Right.
Okay, can I move on, Tony?
Yes.
Okay. Amending Article 6 of Chapter 28 of the Wilkes-Barre City Code of Ordinances entitled Fee Proration. Basically what this is, all of our licenses are due April 30th. And if you have a new person coming in opening up a business, say they open it up in July. Well, they're, according to this, if you pass this, now they'll be due every July to redo their license instead of April 30th. Okay? So instead of having it for 10 months, now it'll be a full year. So it'll be a year on the date that they opened up the new business. Say that right, Tim?
Yeah, what's happened is, since the city obviously has a lot of restaurants and a lot of places that need to be licensed, and the way it had historically been worded is, every license would become, their period would be over on April 30th. And obviously, it takes the inspectors weeks to get to everywhere they need to go. So now going forward over time, if they issue a license on May 1st, it's good for a year. If they don't get your restaurant until the first week of June, it's good for a year. So this, moving forward, this will give the inspectors a little breathing room rather than all of a sudden every license is expired. So that's the intent behind this. And since that's the case, there won't be any prorating anymore. What they used to do, if you got your license late in the year, like maybe in November or December, they would charge you just half a year's fee. But if everybody's good for a year, there won't be any need to prorate going further. So we're just, cleaning that up that was requested by the people who do the enforcement of the licenses.
It makes sense.
So it's much fairer for
For everybody, yeah. City,
Also-
everybody wins.
This also affects the food trucks, obviously, right?
Well, the food truck ordinance has a provision that says their licenses are annual, so they'll certainly be consistent, yes. Right.
Good.
Comments? Good.
Okay. Before I move away, do you have any questions for the mayor?
Anyone?
How you doing, man?
Mike, I'm doing fine. I like that tie. Can I borrow that someday?
I'm good, bud.
Okay.
Okay, council presentations, Councilman Belisco?
Charlie, you took care of the one thing that, La Piazza. Let's hope that, resident claims it's every Saturday, but we'll see this coming Saturday. I'll relay the message to her. The other thing is the old Jacobs Funeral Home.
Oh.
I know that was posted at one time, and now I see lights on and people in and out of there. Are they moving in? Are they repairing the place? Do you know what's going on? Do you have any idea?
Last I had understood was that they were doing repair, and that they're gonna convert it into owner occupied instead of a rental, so that's the last.
Owner occupied rental?
It hasn't, no,
No,
instead of the rental.
Okay, instead
So
of,
they're not gonna have a rental, so it's
Okay.
gonna be owner occupied.
so they have like a permit and stuff?
Well,
Obviously.
they haven't taken one out that I'm aware of as yet for the occupancy. They're working in the property. We're very aware of it. We watch it
Okay,
every
okay.
couple of weeks. Very
Okay.
quiet. It's been very quiet, although there are lights on.
Well, we looked into that too, Mike, because driving by, see the lights, but it looks like there is some work being done by this gentleman that he's going to be able to move into that property himself.
Okay, well, good, good. Hey, moving forward.
Good.
I just saw activity and it gets me nervous, that's all, when we had posted it. Lastly, this food truck thing with the 2 o'clock in the morning, that just really doesn't sit well with me. I don't know how to get around it. Just to let you know, anyway. We don't need to satisfy drunks at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's all.
Okay, Councilman Marin?
Yeah, just for Charlie, I need an update on the Stanton Lane building. I know we gave them a notice. Has anything happened since then? About a month ago? I believe Mount Zion owns the building now.
When you're all done. I suspect someone may be interested.
Okay, I'll talk loud. Yes, Councilman, we met with Reverend Brewster in my office last week.
They'll be able to get
And
his website.
first of all, the graffiti's not going to be, addressed until the nice weather. We said that, but once the nice weather's here and people can get out there and actually spray it or paint over it, that's when my letters will go out.
Okay.
And they'll have a certain amount of time, because that's one of the things that we brought up about, I think you and Councilman McCray brought up about that building. There is graffiti on it. I don't know if you can hear me, Councilman. But we have a situation where with graffiti in the city, those of you in the city that may not know this, if someone puts graffiti on your building, it's the building owner's responsibility to get rid of the graffiti, okay? Not the city. So we went around and we have identified different buildings in the city that have graffiti. But in fairness to the business owners and the property owners, I can't expect you to go out there in 5-degree temperature and paint over it or spray it. So when the nice weather's here, those letters will be going out.
Okay, now, the graffiti's one thing, it's just the whole building and the whole area is in disarray. There's no, there's not even a roof on, the roof's there, but it's just plain wood.
Yeah.
A lot of cars there.
Yeah, we talked to the Reverend, and first of all, the cars are being removed.
Okay.
Okay? That problem is being corrected.
Okay, great.
Okay. There's an impression that it was okay to park them there. It's not
Yeah.
correct. We corrected that. Not going to be, cars won't be there any longer.
Okay.
Secondly, the inside of the building has been cleaned out, and they've been gutting the building on the inside. They're doing repairs. Okay? So Reverend Brewster is working with Dan Kratz.
Okay, all right.
We've been working with him closely about making sure that that building is brought up to code, and it should be taken care of. They're working hand in hand also with them. Okay, so it's being addressed.
Okay.
And I didn't know this, nor did I think anybody else, but the inside's been gutted and cleaned out. So it looks like the roof is,
Yeah, well, yeah, there's no shingles, there's nothing up there.
so this being addressed, but he's working with our code enforcement and our inspector, which is Dan Kratz.
Okay.
So we had a great meeting now. As a matter of fact, I was in communication with him again this afternoon before the meeting.
All right, at least we're moving forward on it.
It's being addressed.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, that's all I have for today.
Councilwoman McClay?
Yeah, so I guess let's just get back to the food truck so that we can shore this up.
Sure.
We originally had in there to go along with the noise ordinance, but I also want to be fair to the food vendors, and I want to make sure that they're not being cut short if they make a majority of their business after 11. I mean, I haven't heard from people, in regards to that, but that's the reason I suggested the change, but if everybody else isn't comfortable with it, we can certainly go back to the 11 o'clock.
Well, and just for a little more detail, when we were looking at ordinances from other towns, I noticed that Scranton seemed to have a different approach to the way they handled food trucks than the city does. As you know, we have our residential district so that they can't go in for protection of the downtown restaurants, where Scranton seems to invite the food trucks into their downtown area, and apparently from talking to people in Scranton, some of them get very busy late at night when the bars, are closing or it starts to get late. So that's just kind of the way they handled food trucks up there, for what it's worth.
And I mean, we looked at some others, we looked at Wilkes-Barre Township, we looked at Hazelton. Some of them ended at 6 o'clock, which is way too early in the day. I mean, so we're just trying to, like I said, we can always tweak it, but we just kind of want to be fair to everyone, the residents as well as the food trucks. That's why I suggested the 2 o'clock, because some people don't go to bed early like me, I mean, some people are eating later than 11, but
I could understand it, but what I'm picturing in my head is 2 o'clock, thereabouts, it gets loud there, the music gets turned up, there's cars all over, residents are awakened by this.
so.
It could easily turn into that.
Right,
You
but
know
so
it.
let me just ask you, because right now, the food trucks are operating without any hours at all. And I haven't received any complaints about that in particular, about, being up late. So, I mean, are you aware of any complaints that?
No,
Okay.
I'm not.
So that's why I think
I'm not saying
maybe,
it's- I'm just saying.
No, I get what you're saying.
We're allowing that to happen.
yeah. I mean, we do have in the ordinance about, the continuous repetitive music. We have about, laser lights, stuff like that, that would obviously affect residents.
And a noise ordinance.
And the noise, right. We have obviously the noise ordinance, which is a separate ordinance in itself from 11 PM to 7 AM.
Right.
I just, like I said, I want to be fair to everyone, which is why we, thought maybe 2 AM might be a better option. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I could see everybody's point, but that's something we could always tweak later on if it does happen, I haven't heard anything because there's hardly any in my area. But I mean, I could, it's kind of twofold.
Tony, what's your thoughts?
I've never got a complaint from residents about food trucks either, so, and if we could tweak them, do you think, is it possible to do a geographic, like maybe just the ones that are downtown would stay open later?
Well, what do you mean by downtown? Because they're already restricted from
Yeah, they're
the
restricted
residential
there, yeah.
business district. So what we're not going to have, no
Right.
matter what the closing time is a bunch of food trucks in that zone, which is River Street to Penn Ave to Northampton to Union.
Right, they
So
go-
that zone's out.
Right, they could all move there, right?
Which we're not changing that. That's
Right.
already been in place and
Right.
that has nothing to do with, so. Just thoughts.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you guys want to look over it and then let me know. And then the other thing I have is, do we have anything in place for these free items on the curb? I mean, I've seen items out there for weeks with the sign free.
Oh,
Do we
right,
have
yeah.
something in place that, they have to have it removed within a certain amount of days, or do we just wait for somebody to come along and decide they want that free item?
Can't be on the tree line no matter what.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's.
It's immediately-
That's a standard situation, so if somebody it's been sitting there, that's just the person just trying to get rid of it.
Right, 'cause it's
Sometimes
usually
that works,
junk.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Right.
But that's like anything else, bags, garbage.
So it shouldn't be on the tree line,
The
okay.
mattress, the sofa, the chair, that's the same thing. If we find out about it, I don't care if it's free or not,
Yeah.
they'll be cited and we'll remove
Perfect.
Got it.
Okay, thank you.
Got it. Okay.
I was curious about that as well.
That's all I
Okay.
got.
Okay. Charlie, I just want to thank you for the graffiti. I know the building up on Blackman and Arch has painted it. That's wonderful. All right, before we leave, our City Attorney Tim Henry has a statement to make.
Yeah, I noticed there seems to be more people in the audience tonight than there would normally be at a work session. So I'm guessing maybe some of you might be here related to the food ordinance. So if anybody is interested in seeing a final version, because obviously tomorrow's version will be different than tonight's version after the discussion. We will have it on the city's website, likely by as early as 10 a.m. tomorrow. So anybody can go on the city's website and print out a copy for themselves. And if somebody doesn't have access to a computer and would like to get a copy, they can always come here to City Hall. The city clerk's office is right behind, so it's at the other end of the hallway here, and you can just get a paper copy here if you didn't have access to a computer. Okay, so I just want to let everybody know.
You can also, if you have questions or concerns, you can reach out to me. My contact information is on the website, and that is my cell phone. So if you have any questions about it, I'm more than happy to help.
Good. All right. Are we good? Okay, so the voting session will be Thursday at 6 o'clock.
Tony?